So thank goodness both of my fans arrived here at the studio so that they could run around and clap and make it sound like all of you were clapping. Merry Christmas, everybody. I am here to give you gifts in the form of, cash. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, $1,000 cash, just like we did yesterday. Same place right here. Congratulations to Cesar Espino for winning $1,000 cash from me yesterday. You have a chance to win $1,000 cash from me today. It's very simple. For the next hour and a half to 2 hours, I'm going to answer your questions about sex, money, power, I guess basically everything and anything. And not only do I want to help change the quality of your life, one of the people that gets through and asks me a question will walk away from this time together $1,000 richer. It's that simple. All you got to do is click the link that's in the chat, and that will put you in the queue to potentially ask me a question. Let my studio know what the question is, and if the question is fascinating to me, pardon me, they'll pass it through to me. And if they pass it through to me and I answer your question, you're in the running. It's that simple. Toward the end of the show, I'm going to invite all the people that had asked me a question. Make sure you stick around, because if you don't stick around, you don't get the moolah. You don't get the cash. You got to stick around. And at the end of the show, I'm going to have everybody watching the show today vote for who should get the $1,000 cash. Yesterday, we had, I think, about 7, 8 calls. So 1 in 8, I don't know about you. That's worth 90 minutes, 120 minutes of my time to stick around and see if, in fact, I won. In fact, a millionaire earns $500 per hour on average, 40 hours a week, 50 weeks out of the year. So if you're making $500 per hour or better, you are in millionaire status, which is where I would like to have you be. My name is Marshall Silver. For those of you that don't know who I am, and gosh, where have you been all these years? For those of you that don't know who I am, the media calls me the millionaire maker, and I'd like to be your personal millionaire maker. I also will warn you up front, I am greatly conservative. I believe in locking down the borders. I don't invite anybody into my house that I don't know, and neither should you. And even the people that I know, I make sure I do a background check on them, make sure they didn't harm their wife or their children. While I do love guests in my home, I also want to be sure that those guests have the same ideas that I have, and that is that we belong on this earth together, meaning that we deserve to get along, we should get along, and there's more than enough for everybody to get along. So yesterday I've invited a caller, in fact, the winner, to my home for Christmas. He was having a hard day, having a hard period of time. And again, it's about friends. It's about friendship. So this is my Christmas gift to you. Not only giving you advice that I normally charge $60,000 per hour to consult for, I'm going to give you that advice totally free. In addition, I'm also going to, like I said, put $1,000 up for grabs. Yesterday on the show, we had Deb Cole. Deb is assisting us here again today. I'd like to welcome Deb. And also today, I have a very special guest with me here in the studio. You hear me talk about her nonstop because she is the top of mind for me. My beautiful bride, Erica, will be saying hello in just a little bit. There's Erica, my bride, looking rather elfish today. Yes, Deb called her an elf on a shelf. I said, no, she's my sweets in the sheets. That's who she is. And of course, Anthony, AC, my executive assistant. And his name's actually Anthony Escamilla, AE, except when he came on board, I thought the Anthony Escamilla on his email address was too long, so I asked him to shorten it to AC. When my wife saw his email address was AC, she said, why is his name AC on his email? I said, because his name is Anthony Camilla. She said, no, gringo, his name is Anthony Escamilla with an E. And I said, oh, I named him AC because he's really cool, which he is, by the way. And it's kind of stuck. So I'm grateful to have AC here, all the team, Zeke and his parties, Jason, and everybody else helping out on the show today. So again, all you got to do, click the link, get in the chat, let them know that you would like to ask us a question, and I will do my very best during our time together to answer your question, bless your life, and at the end of it all, give you a chance. I mean, it's not up to me who gets the money. It's up to you who gets the money. I have been doing what I do on stage for the last 52 years. I have been changing the quality of people's lives as a coach and a trainer for the last 36. So I do know a thing or two about how to help you get what you want in every single area of your life. And when I say every single area, I mean that. If you don't have your health, you have nothing. If your relationships are not harmonious, I promise you, your life will be a living hell. If you do not have the money that you want, then it's not easy. And I really believe money cures most things. So we're going to attack all 3 areas of your life: your emotional, mental, physical, spiritual, well-being, and power. I'm going to go after your relationships, making sure that both your intimate relationships, your business relationships, your friendly relationships are sound, healthy, and helping you. And finally, I'm definitely going to talk about money because I like talking about money. Right off the top, I'll tell you that money, of all the things in your life, is actually the easiest portion of your life. It's the easiest one to solve. And sometimes people look at me and say, well, easy for you to say, rich hypno boy, flying around the world in a private jet, living in a 17,000 square foot palace in Las Vegas, living on the beach. Easy for you to say, I agree. Except I want you to know, if you don't know me, my life has not always been this blessed. And it is blessed. I say thank you. I was born and raised on a farm in Michigan, no running water, no electricity, no phone. Twice my family was homeless. Every single dime I have, I earned. And I created through everything that I want to teach you on this program. First and foremost, you've got to be what you want to become before you're actually that thing. It's not enough to learn. You've got to become someone new. What do I mean by that? Some people think that the way to be a millionaire is to put $1 million in your bank account. And while that's one piece of evidence for sure, I will tell you that's not how you become a millionaire. You become a millionaire by thinking what a millionaire thinks, therefore automatically doing what a millionaire does, and then producing a similar result. Bottom line is, unless you do that, you'll never see the $1 million in your bank account. Now, that said, they say your first million is the most difficult one to make, that once you've made $1 million, that you can do it again and again, which I would agree with. So here's my recommendation to you. Skip the first one. How do you skip the first one? Simple. You say the words, I am a millionaire. Say it out loud. I know you're watching me. I can hear you through your screen. Say it out loud. I am a millionaire whose money has not yet been deposited in my bank account. Get it? You see, today we got lots of cash here in the studio. I got lots of cash to give away. And today we could count $1 million on the table of my money and show you that I'm a multimillionaire. We could do that. And I like doing that. I like the smell of money. I like the feeling of money. I haven't tasted it, though, although I bet I would like it fried. The thing about money, though, is that on the day that I was born into that house with no running water, on the days that I was living in that chicken coop, and today I am the same guy. And because I'm the same guy, when I was living in the chicken coop house, I was indeed a multimillionaire whose money had not yet been deposited in my bank account. When you start accepting that reality, you start asking yourself a whole different set of questions. One question, what is the highest and best use of my time? Abraham Lincoln said, if you have an hour to chop down a tree, spend 40 minutes sharpening that axe. Now, you can chop down a tree with a dull axe. You can. You can whack away at that tree, and eventually that tree will fall. The challenge is, by the time the hour's over, your hands will be blistered and bloodied, and it'll take you the whole hour to whack at that tree with a dull axe. On the other hand, should you take 40 minutes, step aside, sharpen that axe. It'll look like all the whackers are getting ahead of you because they're over there on their trees, except at minute 41, you step up to your tree, you give that axe one fell swoop. Whoosh, that tree falls down. You give it another fell swoop. Whoosh, that tree falls down. You do this again and again, 20 minutes later, 20 trees down, your hands are just fine. Well, they're bleeding out. You are the axe. I'm the grinding wheel. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to reinvent your life. You don't have to do things from scratch. You can do what other people have done and produce similar results very easily. I am a teacher of concepts. I am a teacher of life's lessons. In those life lessons, I will tell you that if you took all the money on the planet today and you divided it evenly amongst all the people, within 5 years, it would be right back in the same hands. The people that squander their money would squander their money. We're seeing it big time right now. The government is pouring trillions of dollars into the economy, and frankly, in ways that I don't think will help. Yes, it is important to give somebody a hand up. A handout for too long enables people. The second thing, though, is that the people that make money would keep doing what we do, and we would keep attracting wealth. We would keep finding ways to serve other people. We'd keep finding ways to make sure that we are helping people step up into their power, which is the deal. You know, I talked at the beginning of the show, I mentioned something, and I'm not afraid. I don't need anybody's approval, and I really don't care whether or not you like me. And I would prefer if you did like me, you actually like me for who I am. And I will say that the United States is the greatest country in the world, bar none. And I've been to a lot of countries. One of the things that our country is built on is capitalism. And our immigration laws are designed to allow people, to welcome people to come in here legally. When I go to another country, I've got to abide by their laws, and I think that's right. I think you should take care of your own house. But I will tell you that so many people in America, natural-born citizens, take for granted the things that are true blessings for us here, where people that immigrate here, come here to the United States looking for their fortune, work their tails off. So many times I see people that, like I said, were born here in the States with a silver spoon in their mouth, doing literally nothing to better their lives, while other hardworking people are working 2 or 3 jobs just to get ahead, to make their dreams come true. Wouldn't it be awesome if we were a society of people that only expected that we would have to take care of ourselves? I have 3 babies. I have Sterling Marshall Silver, Maximus Marshall Silver, Prosperity Erica Silver. And our 3 babies, from the time they were born, have been programmed to understand a term, a concept called personal responsibility. They are responsible for their joy in life. They are responsible for their position in life. They are responsible for every element of their lives. And when you take that level of personal responsibility and you say to yourself, you know what? I owe you exactly what you owe me, nothing. Then what happens is everybody all at once starts taking care of themselves. And when I don't expect you, if you want to give something to me, God bless you. Thank you. I accept. My esteem allows me to accept. If I want to give something to you, which I want to today, I want to give away cash, then just say thank you. That's all you got to say, and the world works just fine. Where we get hitched up is having rights gives people the opportunity to wrong you. Having rights gives people the opportunity to wrong you. Hear me very clearly on that I am blessed. I have the most perfect wife. I have the most amazing children. I have the most amazing team working on this show right now, this very informal time that we have together. And no matter what happens here, good, bad, indifferent, it's me. I did it. And so I'll be responsible for it. So I see that the green room is filling up with guests, good-looking people too, I might add. Well, mostly good-looking people. Some of them particularly good-looking. Some of them good-looking. I'm teasing everybody. It's my nature. If my mouth is moving, I am probably joking. We have Stuart Ottersberg on the line. Stuart, come on in the room and say hello. Good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you too, brother.
You are awesome. It is always my pleasure to see your beautiful face. Obviously, you know how much I love your family. Where are you right now?
I'm currently at my office right now. I work for Garrett C. Wright State Farm in Santa Fe, New Mexico.
You have no idea how weird that is for me to hear you say those words. I am at my office. As you know, and as the audience should know, I met you when you were, what, 10?
At least, maybe even younger, like 9, 8.
Maybe younger?
Maybe.
Yeah, you and your 2 siblings and your mom and your dad are Erica and I, one of our favorite families. We love you guys so very much. And I want to share with the entire audience that not only are you an amazing human being, we'll get to your question in a second. You're not only an amazing human being, you and your family, all of you guys are like ridiculously talented. You are an amazing vocalist, musician, performer. Your sister and your brother are. Your mom and dad are geniuses. Your father's a genius investor. Your mother is just another one of those perfect human beings that the world is blessed with. And your family, you are half Hispanic. You're half Mexican, correct?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
And so I was kind of curious, because I'm outspoken about certain things. I'm outspoken about what I think is going on with the vaccines and the mask mandates, sure, and border control and the attack on our guns. Sure. You're half Hispanic. What do you think about when I say that the borders should be checked, people should be vetted? What do you think about that?
Oh, 100%. I mean, from my own personal experience, my mother came in, like you said, the right way, right? And so I have personal experience seeing the fruits that can come from people who come in and contribute the correct way. And I've also firsthand been witness to a lot of people who take advantage and end up, like you said, just being enabled. And whether that's, getting like deported multiple times and then coming back, and it's just like, it does suck. And it really does suck for the people who I know try and wait and spend sometimes months waiting to hear back from visas or this and that, just so that they can come and either study or work, and so it's definitely really challenging seeing a lot of these people who take for granted and take for granted all the things that the people who wait and actually work for legally. Yeah, that's definitely, I've seen that firsthand here in New Mexico.
Yes, a lot of obviously we're in California, and so a lot of the border states, we see that. And again, I have the utmost respect for anybody who wants a better life and anybody that does whatever they need to do. And I really
Correct.
think that our laws are so messed up that we give power to people to do things illegally. We make it harder for people that are doing things legally,
Yep.
and the complete reverse should be.
And
It should be so
yep.
much easier to immigrate when you go through the process, and so much harder to immigrate when you're coming through illegally. And I would agree with what you just said. It's saddening to me to see people that just want to take care of their families getting repeatedly deported. And the reason they're being deported is they make it so damn hard for people to come in legally.
Correct.
Make it legal. Do the vetting. Do the check at the very least.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
at
and
any rate,
it's also
you mentioned.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, it's ironic as well that the majority of Mexicans, especially that I know, who are here in this country, approve or actually they want stricter, like border policies because they don't want everybody just to be able to come in and like take advantage. They want those people who actually want to come and contribute to whether it's the community or you know what I mean? Like they want those people to come in. And yeah.
Yep,
But go
I would
ahead.
agree. I would agree. I have obviously friends from all nations, from all countries, and my Mexican neighbors, my Mexican friends. I would agree. The ones that have immigrated here don't want illegals, criminal behavior type people coming in at all either. I mean, who would? It doesn't make any
Correct.
sense. And so once again, I believe we live in the greatest country in the world, and we are in this thing together. And I think part of the challenge, and I'm a conservative voice, as you know,
Hmm.
as well as I'm sure you are, I believe you are. And as a conservative voice, we get attacked. And
Oh,
if we have an
100%.
opinion that a few people don't like, we get yelled at and screamed at and judged. And again, it causes people that have a good heart and a good nature about them to be judged falsely. And so once again,
Correct.
I'm glad to have you on the show. You mentioned something. You're at your office and you are selling insurance.
Correct. Hmm.
I don't know if you knew this about me. We train a lot of insurance agents.
I did not know that.
Yes, in recent times, we've had the good fortune to train a lot of insurance agents. I love insurance because of the residual income that it builds. I
Hmm.
love insurance because everybody needs it. Everybody really must have it these days. And I love insurance because you get a chance to interact with a whole lot of people. So I didn't mention it at the top of the show. Obviously, you and your family are welcome at any time to Turning Point. And anybody that comes on the show during these times and asks me a question, I'm going to give 2 tickets to Turning Point. So I'm going to give those to you anyway, even though you have a lifetime reattendance that you could give to some people in your office that may also want to have some additional sales training, personal development
Awesome.
training for our Turning Point coming up in San Diego, January 21, 22, 23. So I'd love to have you there. I'd love to have your family there, and would love to have your peers there as well. So what's your question?
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm not, I don't know, honestly. Let me see. So I'm getting ready, actually. This is my last couple of months here in Santa Fe because I'm getting ready to move to Nashville. So I'm getting ready to go pursue music full time because that's, like you said, that's my calling. That's what I want to do. That's what I've always wanted to do since I was a kid. And so I'm getting ready to move to Nashville, but I've already kind of experienced, the exciting life of a 9 to 5er, right? And it's just like, I'm ready to go out there and make that first million or skip it and get to 3, 4, 5. And
Yeah.
I just want to be able to support my community as well, like the way that private investors supported me growing up and were able to fund me, like to be able to get all these free voice lessons or music lessons. And so I guess my question, is I don't know what's a great place to start. I don't. What's
No,
your
that's a
best
great
advice
question.
for somebody who's getting ready to go out into the world?
Yeah. And I can relate, having been an entertainer my whole life, I can completely relate to where you are and completely relate to the idea that you want to do what you love and you still want to eat. So how old are
Correct.
you now?
26 as of last month.
Very cool. So I became a hypnotist. I was an entertainer from the time I was 7 years old. I became a hypnotist at 23. And just like you, the moment I stepped into that, I knew it was my life's dream. I knew it
Yep.
was what I would do for the rest of my life, just like you in music. I
Hmm.
also have an expression that I use, and the expression is you've got to eat chicken while you're hunting elephants.
Yep.
And so what I love to do is do things that can dovetail each other, do things that support each other. And so there's a couple things. I have some great friends in Nashville, and these guys are
Oh.
amazing. I want to give a shout out to Taylor and Chris with Traffic and Funnels. One of their offices, they got multiple offices. One of their offices is right there in Nashville. And they
Hmm.
are a marketing agency. They teach people how to market, how to sell things, particularly
Okay.
online. And there's some of the best in the industry at it. they are always hiring people. And so should it be something that you might be interested in doing while you're hunting elephants in your musical career, something that would not only put food on your table, something that would also potentially further your career? Because ultimately, show business is 2 words. And the business word is the bigger word. You know, as you know, my life's been blessed. People come to my palace, as you have in Vegas, and come to my beach house, as you have. And often, as an entertainer to another entertainer, it boggles them that somebody could make so much money, frankly, doing what we do. 100%. And as you know, the Garth Brooks or the big names in entertainment that have hundreds of millions of dollars have set an example for the rest of us that says, no, not only is it possible, it's likely. Because I know your talent, especially somebody that is as talented as you are and has as much going for them as you do. And so when people look at me, I don't think, and Madonna said this years ago, Madonna said, I'm not the best singer. I'm not the best dancer. I'm not the best looking person on the planet, which I would heartily agree with. She said, I'm the combination. I'm the package. And more than anything, that's when I went after my showbiz career, I kept coming back to the phrase GTFM. GTFM, get the freaking money. And I said, what is my business plan? Not what is my plan to have everybody love my entertainment, give me a standing ovation. I said, no, how do I get the money? Because if I don't get the money, my talent's gone. I'm sure you're obviously aware of Justin Bieber's story.
Yep.
I just the family and I just watched the biography about him and all of his background, and it just a remarkable story. I don't care what anybody says. Bieber is one talented man, and 100%. He fought for his career. He fights for his career on a regular basis. Yet he's smart enough to make sure that he's front of mind. He's smart enough to be sure that people are thinking about him. So 2 things I would recommend to you as far as your career is concerned. If you're going to Nashville, I'd love to do an introduction for you to Taylor and Chris. I think it'd be a phenomenal fit for you. Knowing your background, knowing what you're doing, you'll be right there in Nashville. I also know that the things that you'll learn there are applicable to your musical career. And, these days, everything has changed. And these, in the old days, if you wanted to get a book or a song or a movie or anything published in the entertainment realm, you had to go through the gatekeepers. 100%. And these days, everything is very different. These days, we can be our own gatekeeper. We can create our own excitement. And I'd love to have you learn that. I'd love to put you in a place where you're making good money and at the same time also furthering along that plan to get to your 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 10th, 100th million dollars because you deserve it.
Yes, sir. That would be amazing. I would really appreciate that, Marshall.
You are awesome, brother. Before you take off for Nashville, I'd love to see you next month here in San Diego at Turning Point, along with some peers. Love to see your family, of course. God bless you. You're totally loved. Stay on the show because you may win $1,000.
Oh, I'm going to be here.
Awesome, brother. Talk to you soon.
Love you, brother. Have a good one.
Love you too. Life is so good. And I know that oftentimes people don't realize, once again, it's not an either or world, it's an and world. And because it's an and world, we can have everything that we want in every area that we want. And we have to start with that assumption. I think sometimes people think being a starving artist is a great thing, that, somehow we've got to suffer. I think sometimes people think that conservative voices, we've got to be quiet and be polite. And again, you heard it right there. And not everybody agrees with my opinions. I don't want that or need that. I just want people to know that you're entitled to your opinions. We are entitled to speak. My great friend Deb Cole was on her way here, getting ready to go travel. And as you know, if you're traveling internationally now, there's some pretty major restrictions. We're talking jabs, we're talking tests, we're talking all that stuff. And I have very strong opinions about the jab. I have very strong opinions about what the tests actually are. And in due respect, I saw an article this morning that said now New York and Colorado have created a new mandate that you are not fully vaccinated until you have all of the additional boosters as well. Where does it stop? Where do we say enough? How many times do you stick something in my body that you won't even tell me what it is before I say, you know what? The people that are getting jabbed, they're still getting sick. Something's not right here. And you got to ask the questions. I am saddened by people that have jobs that the job is requiring them. Again, it's your choice. If you want to do it, God bless you. And if you weighed everything and said, hey, I want to travel internationally, this is what's required, and you choose that, God bless you. That's your choice. My wife asked me this morning, she said, how do we deal with this? And I said, we choose. we choose. And she said, what if that means we can't travel internationally? I said, then we can't travel internationally. That's just it. That's the way it is. And we choose to be happy. And we choose to live our life on our terms. And I think that's the hardest thing for people to understand. There's no right or wrong. There's consequence with everything. There's no right or wrong. We had somebody that wanted to get on the call yesterday. Is that the person? Okay. Well, I'm just going to let this guy jump on because this is a good question. And by the way, Stuart, that was an awesome question you asked. So Tommy, Norman, our next caller here. And by the way, I'm so glad you guys are active. I'm so glad you guys are jumping on and playing full out because that's amazing. So I'm getting some feedback. I'm not sure if it's from Tommy's mic. I think it must be. That's amazing. So Tommy, you're live right now, and we're getting a whole lot of feedback. If you can lower the volume, or if there's a second.
Is that better?
That's perfect. There you go. Yep. Now you're good.
Okay.
Welcome home.
Well, I had two on there. Let me turn this one off. Let me turn it off.
You know, if I could turn something off.
Okay. Great.
I've never learned how to turn something off. That's all. Go ahead.
Marshall, I was. Okay. Go ahead.
Go ahead. We're listening. You're live.
Okay, I am really excited about your program. As a matter of fact, the Turning Point, I am studying hypnosis.
Awesome. Lovely.
And I have a question about hypnosis. So
you have my product pack. You have my USB drive. How did you get that?
Gloria Charles. She's an awesome person.
She is awesome. We love Gloria.
Yes.
So what's your question?
I kept bugging her about it because I'm really, really interested in learning hypnosis, and she's just awesome. But my question is, you mentioned in a previous session that you had hypnotized a subject, and you had embedded in that subject's mind that only you could bring them out of trance.
Yes.
And someone else tried to put them in trance, which they succeeded, but they were unable to bring them out. And only you could go back and bring them out. So, I mean, I just want to know the hypnosis a little deeper to really know what's going on here. Because I want to learn this stuff to really help people, but I want to know the negative and the positive behind it. Can people really be crippled by it, or is this all in their mind?
Two things. Number one, that question was a bit devious. I want to know what your motives are. Number two, and I'm teasing you. Number two, you're talking about my appearance on Late Night with David Letterman. And what happened was I had been on Letterman when I was 23 years old. And it was my first national television appearance. And you can look it up on YouTube. Letterman was horrible to me. He kept grabbing the girl that I was hypnotizing and shaking her and bringing her out of trance and was really mean to me. In fact, it wouldn't let me do my thing. The show comes and goes. I am not able to hypnotize somebody. I go back home, kind of tail between the legs, 23 years old. This guy with this national television presence just like ripped me apart. They got hate mail. They got hate phone calls. They got everybody and their brother contacting the Letterman show and saying, why didn't you let the young guy do his thing? You got to bring him back. And so Robert Morty, his producer, called me up and said, hey, we want to get you back on the show. And I said, no, he's just going to be mean to me. And they said, no, he'll let you do your thing. And I said, no, he's just going to interrupt me. And they said, no, you come back on the show, he'll let you do your thing. And so as naive as I was at 23 years old, I flew back to New York to go back on the Letterman show. And right before I went on the show, Morty calls me at my hotel room and says, hey, by the way, do you have any jokes you're going to tell? Me being naive, I said, yeah, I got a couple jokes that I'm going to tell. And I told him the jokes. Well, unbeknownst to me, they were writing counter material. They were writing comebacks for Letterman, which, again, he said, that's the business. He's a professional. His writers were writing material to play off my material. So what I was going to do is make a woman stiff and rigid, lay her across two supports, one for her neck, one for her ankles, and stand on her midsection. And in order to do that, I had to touch the sides of her body and tell her, stiff and rigid as a steel bar, stiff and rigid as a steel bar. And so while I'm doing that, Letterman gets between me and the camera and starts mocking me. And he's getting between me and the camera saying, steel bar, steel bar. And I'd had enough. Even at 23 years old, I said, look, I'm not getting out of this unfazed. He's going to harass me. So I said, you know what, David? That's right. Stiff and rigid, something you know nothing about. Why don't you come help me? He throws his cigar in the air. He kicks his desk. He drops an F-bomb, which they conveniently edited out. And then I'm putting the woman across the chairs. I need some help getting up on top of her to stand on her midsection. And he's the one that's supposed to help me, except he's still between me and the camera mocking me. So I said, Dave, save your breath. You'll need it to blow up your date later. He helps me. I can stand on the woman. After me, Ziggy Marley, Bob Marley's son, was the next guest. And Letterman talked about me for like 30 minutes. He kept mocking me, and it was crazy. For the next 10 years, every single time, about 2-3 times a year, I'd get a call from Morty saying, Marshall, come back on the show. It was crazy. It was madness. Come back on the show. We want you back on. And I said, no, I'm not coming back on. I don't want to be harassed. Well, I had opened my show at the Sahara in Las Vegas on the main stage. I needed some press. And so I said, sure, I'll go back. I'll do Letterman to promote my show, except you got to give me a break. Let me hypnotize the staff. I knew that if they let me hypnotize the staff, I would be okay, because hypnotizing the staff, how could he argue with that? It's his staff. So I hypnotized his staff. And then to your question, I did something called a lockdown. I locked down all the people that I hypnotized on his staff and said, the only person that can bring you out of trance, should you enter trance, is me. And I locked it down that way. And then I added one more suggestion. Should you hear me or David say the words, sleep now, your eyelids will close, your body will relax, every muscle will become limp and loose, and you'll go into a deep trance. And so I gave him that suggestion. And sure enough, I do my thing. It's all fun. I'd flown back home to Las Vegas. Letterman is doing his live show with the people that I've hypnotized, playing the footage of when I had hypnotized them. And sure enough, he starts messing with Biff, his studio manager. And he starts saying, sleep now, sleep now. I'd already planted the suggestion. Biff came over, fell down on the set, went into trance, and now Letterman cannot bring him out because he doesn't know that I've done this. So in the words of Wayne Gretzky, I skated to where I knew the puck was going. So I locked it down. Letterman has to call me up on the phone, and during the live taping, give direction to bring Biff back out of trance. I was back on the show 3 times in 3 weeks. I'm the only hypnotist to have ever appeared on Late Night with David Letterman. I'm one of the only guests that weren't considered a regular guest to appear 3 times in 3 weeks. I've got a great write-up in Rolling Stone magazine, and as they say, the rest is history. So there's a lot of lessons in there. Number one, yes, words matter. It's not difficult to hypnotize people. It's difficult to bring them out of the trance they walk around in every single day. The trance that tells them who they are and who they aren't, what they can be, what they can do, what they can have. It is essential that we take charge, complete control of our thoughts and emotions, and cause those thoughts and emotions to serve us by asking us a question, asking ourselves a question, am I getting further ahead or further behind in this process? Each and every time we do that, we become more powerful. Each and every time we are personally responsible for our lives, we become better at living. So my recommendation to you, as you're learning hypnosis, number one, you're going to get to, if I recall, you're in Indiana. So you need to get on a plane. You need to come down to Southern California. You need to get to Turning Point Live. It's going to be the best thing you've ever done. The fact that Gloria invited you, yes, guaranteed. She knows what she's talking about. She herself is an amazing human being, definitely growing right now, definitely becoming everything she was intended to be, a wonderful human being worthy of all the prosperity this life has to give her. So you come join me. You got 2 free tickets to Turning Point via a guest of Gloria. You've got my $1,000 product pack in your hand. And because you're on the show again today, you got a chance to win $1,000 cash. So make sure you stick around. Nice chatting with you.
Awesome. I found it fascinating, and I mean, it's just never tiring studying it because, I'm a speaker and I want to use it to make positive impacts on people. So, well,
I'm certainly going to help you understand how to monetize what you're doing, Tommy. Welcome to the show. Welcome home. And I look forward to seeing you in person. God bless.
Thank you.
Yeah, everything happens for a reason and it serves us. I was on Letterman 5 times. I was on Montel Williams' show 6 times. I've been on the Howard Stern show 6 times. And, ultimately what we're doing right now, this is hypnosis. You don't need to grab somebody by the hand, give them a tug and have them collapse at your feet to have trance work. For those of you that know me, you know that I met my wife almost 15 years ago in a room of about 1,000 people, and I hypnotized her to ask me out on a date. And 15 years later, I am still in trance. Gratefully so, mind you. Gratefully so. We have the phone lines are going nuts. If you would like to get on the show, all you got to do is click on the link that they're putting in the chat. of the feed, and the queue is staying plentiful. I see we have on the phone Ian Young. Ian, welcome. Nice to see you there. So, Ian, where are you?
South Philadelphia. Oh.
Yep, you're live, and I can hear you.
South
Now you're
Philadelphia.
South Philadelphia. My goodness, my friend, you get around. So you're muted again. You sure are pretty, though. You're muted, so you got to unmute yourself there.
So, Marshall, I came home to help my
I
family.
I saw you flipping your hair. What are you doing? You wanted to make me jealous? Is that what that is?
Yeah.
So,
Anyway, I can't wait to get back to Southern California and come to the next turning point in person. I mean,
awesome.
I got to get back there. I miss you guys really much. Yeah, but I had to come home and help my family. I had to come home, help my family. Now I got to find my way back, and I'll be back. And I'm looking forward to working with you a lot now. I'm stepping up. Anyway,
fantastic.
That's it.
So what's your question?
Oh, well, my question is always, I just need to get more power, more certain that I got to raise the capital to get home to California, and I need to have the certainty to create it. Like, how do you manifest that money? 2 hands full of money. I really need that right now. And that's what I need to learn right now.
Yeah, you know, obviously you've been a student of Turning Point for a while. You have you've been in and about Vegas and Southern California, and I've seen you at many events. And one of the things that I tell people that aren't producing the result that they want in the moment that they're living in, and that is that you've got to become laser focused. In life, we'll have either discipline or regrets. And I see people get off track financially, and I see them not stay focused on finance. And in particular, you know, I understand taking care of family. And it's essential that we take care of family. My entire world, my entire life is a devotion to my wife and my children. That is my sole purpose for living right now. But I also know, though, that Ayn Rand, who wrote the book Atlas Shrugged and the book The Fountainhead, Ayn Rand, yeah, A-Y-N, Ayn, sometimes mispronounced Ayn Rand, wrote the book The Virtues of Selfishness. And a lot of people have never read the book, and the basis of the book is one thing. It's kind of like what you're told when you jump on a plane. And they tell you, in the event of a loss of cabin pressure, oxygen masks will drop down from the ceiling. Please place your mask on first, then assist the person beside you. And the reason's real simple. If you don't put your mask on first and you assist this person that's thrashing beside you, you will die. You'll lose oxygen and you'll die. And if you die, you can't help the person beside you. So you've got to put your mask on first so that you live, and then you can assist the person beside you. And when you do that, then everybody wins. And so the thing I will tell you, because I know you and I know your nature, and I know that you are a kind and loving soul, and you look like Fabio, you look fabulous. The thing I will tell you is that you need to be more selfish. You need to watch out for Ian, and you need to make sure that Ian is taken care of first. And then once you start doing that, with what you have left, the extra, then you can take care of other people. You know, my beautiful bride is so good about making sure that I am taken care of. So I've got a great fertile soil that we take care of each other mutually. At the end of the day, though, I would have for her the same thing I would have for my children. I would have them take care of themselves first. And the reason I want that for them is it's the only way that the world works. If my behaviors were so out of line and so detrimental and dangerous to my family, I would not want them to stick around. I would want them to do what they need to do to have the life that they deserve. And, you know, and sometimes people fall into places, and I'm not suggesting you are because I don't know your circumstance. They fall into places where they enable the people in their lives to the point where they want to give love, and yet they're not giving love. They're allowing people to keep living a life of misadventure rather than a life of abundance and prosperity. So yes, I want to see you back at Turning Point in January. You've got 2 tickets. Bring somebody that can pour well into your life, and I look forward to seeing you soon. God bless, Ian.
God bless.
Take care. Hey, we're going to take a 3-minute break. The show is still going on. We are live. We're going to play a 3-minute break. We got a lot of people in the queue. I'm going to get to your questions. We've had about, I think, 3 people on so far. So of the 3 people that have been on so far, Tommy, Stuart, and Ian, stick around. Make sure you stay here because you are in the running for $1,000 cash. Here's how it works. We're going to take a short 3-minute break. And at the end of the break, I'm going to come back. I'm going to answer some more questions. After I've answered those questions, at the end of the show, we are going to have you, yes, you, the viewer, select who gets the $1,000 cash. And here's my criteria. You can choose whatever you want. I'm going to have you vote in the chat, but here's my criteria. I like questions that are for everybody. I like questions that assist everybody. I thought Stuart's question was amazing. Obviously, Tommy and Ian's questions were also astounding, except here's what I liked about Stuart's question. He was saying, how do I pursue my dreams and still live my life? And I think that's something that so many people watching this program and who will watch this program need to keep in mind. So 3-minute break. We'll be right back. You got something for me before we take a break?
Real quick.
Yeah.
So Ian and Stuart and Tommy, we love having you in the green room, but we may be just booting you for a little bit because the room is now full with more people wanting to ask questions, but stay in the chat so that if you get voted in the end, you can come back on live with Marshall.
Perfect.
So
yes, stay on the program. They're gonna boot you from the green room because our phone lines are lighting up. I mean, of course, look at me. 3-minute break. We'll be right back. Stick around for more advice on sex, money, and power, and your opportunity to win $1,000 cash. See you in 3 minutes. And there they are, those 2 people that love me, clapping away. Welcome back. I'm Marshall Silver. You are on Sex, Money, and Power live. the show. And we call it Sex, Money, and Power because your questions are open, whatever you want to ask me about. The more fun, the better for me. That's what I say. This is my Christmas gift to you. Yesterday, today, tomorrow, I'm here in the studio answering questions about your life, about helping you get more in every single area. And I'm also giving away cash. Yesterday, Cesar Espino won 1,000 smackaroonies from me. $1,000. And today's no different. Today, I'm going to give away another $1,000. And tomorrow, at least another $1,000. I also know for a fact that the bottom line for every last one of us is our life is what's going on in our heads, and that we have got to take charge of our thoughts and emotions. We've got to have what's called self-mastery. What you believe to be true is true for you. What you focus on expands, and reality is created by validation. So what we've got to do is help you create better validation. Who do we have in the green room? It looks like we've got Andrew Schlegg. Andrew, welcome home, my friend. Looking awesome as ever. Love the shirt. Love the smile. Glad you're here.
Thank you. So good to be on with you, Marshall. Always good seeing you.
What's going on, man?
Yeah, just first wanted to say thank you so much for everything you've done. You helped me to absolutely step into my power. And man, since I entered your world, of course, meeting you back in 2015, it took me a little bit to warm up to you. But after I did, everything changed and everything began to come together. I just wanted to ask the question. I have several friends who are signing up for the next multimillionaire and several more who are I'm talking to about it. And I just wanted to ask, when are you giving the Rolls-Royce away?
Good question. Yeah, we have a program that I launched last July, and it is a show called The Next Multimillionaire. As you know, and as some people may not know, I had open heart surgery earlier in 2021, and it caught me by surprise. My father had massive heart challenges during his lifetime. They told me it was genetic, that it was because of my DNA that I had the heart challenges that I had. They had to replace a valve. And so I went in for open heart surgery, and it was eye-opening for me. It was frightening, frankly. And I didn't share with anybody. I especially didn't share with my wife that I would go down to the beach and I would pray like crazy to God. God, let me live long enough to be sure that my family's taken care of. Please let me do whatever I need to do to make sure they're in a really good place. And God blessed me, and God took care of me. And so before I went into surgery, they're getting ready to prep me, and they said the surgery is going to be between 4 and 6 hours. And I said, okay. I told them, I said to the doctor, your surgery is going to go faster than any surgery you've ever done. It's going to go without a hitch. And when I'm done and I'm recovering, I want you to call my wife to make her feel better, because I know she's frightened right now, and tell her I was a rock star and the surgery got done in record time. So they put me in surgery. I come out in the ICU, and in the ICU, I wake up and the nurse is laughing. And I said, what's so funny? She said, you're a rock star. I said, what do you mean? She said, your surgery took 2.5 hours. Never takes 2.5 hours. It's just, we went in, everything went perfectly, not a hitch. I said, and? She said, she's laughing still. She said, and the doctor called your wife and said you were a rock star. I said, great. And so I'm lying in the ICU though, and I'm counting my blessings. You know, I've made over $500 million in the course of my career. That's with a B. And part of my challenge is, even though I like what money brings me, money's never been the thing that motivated me. Now, I love flying on private jets. I love having a palace in the desert and a home on the beach. It's just that the idea of money, when you have enough, it's like, what more do I need? And it never really motivated me. And so I'd been kind of retired, semi-retired for a few years. And while I was lying in the ICU, it struck me how selfish I was being. It struck me that I needed to demonstrate to people, teach people something they weren't learning in college, as you know, that they're not learning in general about making money. I, back in 1994, went from being approximately $250,000 in debt to having $2 million liquid net in my bank account in about 4 months. And so I knew that it was possible to go from a substantial amount of debt to having a substantial amount of net in the bank by adhering to certain principles. And I said, okay, that's all well and good. You've been rich, you've been broke, you've been rich again, you've been broke again, you've been rich again, married the wrong person, been broke again, and then you're rich again. So you know that money is math. Could you teach somebody else this math? Could you teach somebody who's never been a millionaire how to be a millionaire in the course of 4 months? And the answer was yes. And then I asked myself, could you teach anybody? And the answer was a resounding no. I don't care what I do for people. I don't care how much resource I put in front of people. I don't care what lessons I teach people. There are people, as you know, because you're also a teacher, there are people that don't do anything. There are people, you can tell them exactly how to be a millionaire inside of 4 months, and they'll pretend like they're doing things. They'll even in their own mind believe they're doing what they need to do, and they're not. They give up way too easy. They get discouraged way too fast. They let the toxic voices speak in their ears. They don't shut out those relationships like you have to, and they don't succeed. And I said, well, what if you vetted people? What if you, as best you could, vetted someone? Could you make them a millionaire? And my answer was still no. And then I said, well, what if you took 12? I mean, could you really be that bad on judging people that out of 12, you couldn't make at least one of 12 people a millionaire inside of 4 months? And I said, yes, I could do that for sure. In fact, I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is. So I created a program called I Am the Next Multimillionaire that we are going to do a documentary live. We're going to take 4 months and we're going to film the process. I'm going to take 12 people. And they're not broke people. They're not coming out of a welfare line. They're not homeless on the street. While I have compassion to those people, you got to do something to get somewhere. So I'm talking about the average citizen. We're going to take people that have some wherewithal. And if they don't have wherewithal, we're going to show them how to get wherewithal. And every contestant is going to start with a $50,000 bank of their own. It's not paid to me. It's their money. They keep their money. And in the course of 4 months, I'm going to show them how to turn that $50,000 into $1 million or better. And should I not be able to do that, I'm going to give $2 million of my money to charity. When I'm able to do that, the person that makes the most money, over $1 million, I will give an additional $1 million prize to. So that is what we are going to do. My intention is that we will film it at my palace, my 17,000 square foot home in Las Vegas. Vegas is insane. The Nevada governor, Sisolak, needs to be out of office as soon as possible. He's destroying the state, much like many other governors are, and has created a mask mandate. He loosened it in July, brought it back, and he's flat out destroying businesses right now. I don't want to film, won't film, because I cannot wear a mask due to my heart surgery. I cannot wear a mask for an extended period of time, nor will I film the show if everybody else is. And so right now, we are in a holding pattern until they lift the mask mandates in Las Vegas. Once they've lifted them, we will immediately go in and begin filming the next multimillionaire, doing the broadcast, like I said, doing the documentary, filming it live, and watching the process. You asked about my Rolls-Royce. I have a Rolls-Royce Phantom in Las Vegas. It's used. It's got 22,000 miles on it. As a part of the promotion, it's paid for in full. As a part of the promotion, I'm going to be giving away my Rolls-Royce Phantom and one of the 12 positions to the person who refers the most people to IamTheNextMultimillionaire.com. Now, when people go there, there is an application fee. There's a $50 application fee, except the $50 application fee gets a whole bunch of things. It gets 5 sessions with me teaching them the foundational skills of how to be a millionaire. It gets a home study package worth $1,000. It gets 2 tickets to Turning Point worth $3,000 a piece. All sorts of additional bonuses are available there. And when we lift, when the mask mandates are lifted in Nevada, in Las Vegas specifically, we will begin selecting those 12 people. The person that refers the most people to that web page not only will get an affiliate commission, they'll also get a guaranteed slot as one of the 12. It's the only way you can guarantee a slot as one of the 12. And they will get my Rolls-Royce Phantom free and clear. So, I mean, it's a pretty big package. And if anybody could win it, you could. Not only could you win that, you could also win $1,000 cash today because you're asking really good questions. So good stuff.
Thank you,
show me the money, baby. Show me the money.
Thanks for everything.
I love you too. Take care, Andrew. I'll talk to you soon. You know, I have been blessed for many years of working with people, partnering up with people that are just amazing. And Andrew's one of those people. Andrew is a real estate investor. I think he's 28 years old right now. And he has just been knocking it out of the park, not just for himself, also for some other people. We are in great opportunity. Yesterday, you heard me talk on the show about something called velocity. Velocity, as it pertains to your finances, is the speed and frequency in which money changes hands. How often do you plant money that comes back and grows? You have a machine and you slip $100 into the machine and it kicks back out $400. What do you do with the $400? If you're smart, you put it right back into the machine. And you do it again and again and again and again until you have as much as you like. That's business. That's life. That's where we are right now. So the phone lines are going nuts. Got a lot of people I can see in the green room wanting to talk to me. The next person in the green room is Michael Isaacson. Michael Isaacson, you are live on the air. Welcome, friend. Welcome home.
How you doing, Marshall? It's been a while.
I'm always awesome. You know that, though.
Oh, yeah, I do. Hey, my question is, and this could be a whole week-long worth of training, 5 things. What 5 things could you impart to somebody that would make their 2022 the most awesome ever? I was at a turning point with you a few years back before this craziness took place, and I found myself over this last 20 months just angry at big pharma, angry at big tech, angry at wimpy Brandon, and I actually had to go back and scrub all my social media because it had become so toxic that I couldn't even stand it. So, but yeah, what 5 things? And I know that's a week-long conversation, but if you could give something up real quick, what would it be?
Yeah, and and I would agree. There's a lot of people that are angry. I choose not to be angry. I certainly am frustrated. Andrew asked about the Next Multimillionaire program. I'm frustrated. Nobody wants to do the show right now more than me. Nobody knows the economy needs those lessons rolled out in real time for everybody to see better than me. My whole idea behind the Next Multimillionaire is that those 12 people would reflect the population, that we would have a 23-year-old college grad who's done with her college, has $200,000 worth of student loans, and says, how do I pay these off? That we have the retired couple that's 70 years old that is getting their Social Security check and realizing it's not even close to what they put in, let alone enough to survive on, and then everybody in the middle. Because what I want is for people to watch that show and say, I can identify with that person or those people, and if they could do it, I can do it too. You asked, what kinds of things? Number one, I am extremely frustrated with what's going on. I had COVID, as I mentioned yesterday. I had COVID twice. I had it back in November of 2019, and then about a year later, I got it again. The second time, fortunately, somebody had gotten me hydrochloroquine. I took the hydrochloroquine, kicked it out of my system in 2 days. Now, with everything else that's going on, it's extremely frustrating. We're seeing states like North Dakota and Florida in particular, run by Governor DeSantis, who's done a remarkable job down there, by the way, who has not had mask mandates, who has opposed any vaccine mandates, who has insisted the economy stay open, and they are thriving. Part of the challenge, and a lot of people don't realize this, again, the pharmaceutical companies are making billions of dollars on what's going on right now. And not only that, the pharmaceutical companies now are changing their focus from just the vax to the treatments for heart ailments that, frankly, the vax is causing. So you got a whole bunch of layers of challenges. So back to your original question, though, how do we thrive when we're frustrated? Number one, what we focus on expands, and that's essential. Just like the conversation I had with my bride this morning, if we are stopped from doing certain things, we say, okay, we will be joyful in other ways. We will find, how do we stay joyful? You scrubbed your social media. I had to do the same thing. I was extremely frustrated with what happened in November of 2020. I still am frustrated as to where we are. And yet I have a philosophy, and the philosophy is never get angry at the game. Never get angry at the game, even when the game keeps changing. What you got to do is just stay on top of the game and say, okay, here's the way to win this game. One of the reasons I'm doing this program right now is there are people like you. There are many of us that are frustrated during these times that just want a voice of reason. Unfortunately, one of the most conservative voices that we've had in recent times passed this past year. When Rush Limbaugh passed, I said there needs to be a new conservative voice. The challenge is a voice of reason that is also conservative is going to be attacked no matter where. I'd be shocked that I make it through tomorrow, frankly, at the end of the day on this platform. I have, in the back of my mind, I know that I've already said things for sure that may get me booted. And although I want my truth to be known, I'd also like to be able to walk down that fine-edged sword so that we can get the message out. The good news is I don't have nearly enough viewers to really make a difference, so they'll probably let me stay. Nobody likes that guy. We'll let him keep talking. The other point, though, is that in making our lives better, we've got to pay attention to where we are and then be very specific about what is our outcome. What is our desired place we're going to? Because when we figure out where we're going to, we can stay focused on that. Where do I pray we go to? Number one, I pray we get past all the mandates like yesterday. And, you know, my friends have asked me, what do we have to do? Kind of like what Florida is doing. The governor has said, we won't comply. You can say whatever you want to Biden. We're not going to comply. And again, that's his right. He's running his state. And, you know, people that live in states that are doing the opposite, like Michigan, are moving to Florida. And Florida is going to have its massive boom is not going to stop anytime soon. That state is going to flourish. And so, you know, it's kind of like with my kids. I tell them, you will never get what you want by throwing a fit. You may get what you don't want by throwing a fit. So don't throw fits. And that's the same thing as adults we need to do, is that as frustrated as I may be about current circumstances, I need to acknowledge we are where we are right now. You know, how do we play in this circumstance where we are right now in a way that will allow everybody to win? So that's first and foremost. Secondly, we've got to be able to do the real math and see whether or not our plan is plausible. As much as I would like to say more of what I have on my heart and on my mind, I don't say it. And the reason I don't say it is to what end? Who will win? And because no one will win, it's not gonna help anybody. So you say, okay, I'm gonna interject where I can. Last thing though you want to do, Michael, is you want to make sure that you're not angry at the game, that you don't give away your power, because by giving away your power, you end up in a place that nobody wants to be. And that's a place where you're frustrated, that anger will only create bad health for you. Nobody wins. Stay in places like this that I can pour into your life and pour into your mind in such a way that you would end up being victorious, and make sure you're focusing on what you want instead of what you don't want. And finally, I'll tell you this, that we can never live a life by protecting against death. And the bottom line is we're all going to die one day. My prayer for you, my prayer for me, my prayer for everybody that comes in contact with this program is that we live until we do. So you are totally loved. Stay on the line. Great question. You might win $1,000 cash. I know it would be useful. At the very least, you've already got 2 tickets to come back and join me at Turning Point in January in San Diego County. And I would love to either have you there or your guests. So God bless, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Marshall.
Great questions on the program today. We're having fun. I see we've got, I've just got fans and voices that I haven't chatted with for a long time coming out of the woodwork. I love this. I have another Turning Point graduate. By the way, if you are not yet in the green room, here's how this works. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow, I have been and am doing a program where I'm going to answer your questions about sex, money, and power. And I'm also going to be giving away $1,000 cash every single day, just like we did yesterday on this program for Cesar Espino. To win the $1,000 cash, all you got to do is click the link, go into the green room, tell my team you got a question for me. If your question is fascinating and interesting to me, I'll bring you on the air. If I bring you on the air and chat with you, that is all you need. Your coupon is in the hat. At the end of the program on each of these days, I will give an opportunity for you, the viewers, not me. I'm not going to choose it from the hat. You're going to choose who gets the $1,000 cash by virtue of how fascinating, useful, and powerful their question was. So next up in the green room, I've got Bob Maddox. Bob, there you are. OMG is right. God bless you, brother. Yes.
Hey, you're looking beautiful, Marshall. Long time no see.
You're looking awesome too. I pray that you are able to take care of all of your duties. I know you're busy this time of the year. Well, there you are. I know him. Yeah, I was that guy last year. That's who I was last year.
I've still got. I just got back from Mexico, and all the kids thought I was Santa. It was great. So
it is great. Well, welcome home.
Hey, it's good. Hopefully I'll get to see you. I'm glad the live shows are starting again. Like you, I've had medical issues during this pandemic, but I've traveled. I've been to Paris, France. I go to Mexico a lot. And I didn't really have a question. I made a statement, but Erica just kind of like bumped me and says, what's your question? I'd like to share. Yeah, I'd like to share something with you. And it's something, maybe it is a question, because I have an issue. I want to help a lot of people. I've been very fortunate with money sex and apparently power too. But I'm very private, very, very, very private. So I don't talk about my successes. And I mean, there's a handful of people that have witnessed and know.
Hey, we got a conversation going on in the studio. You guys can take that outside.
Hey, get out of here. You're talking Bob.
Shouldn't have to say things like that. Go ahead.
But you know, my daughter and one of my grandsons had an interesting situation when the pandemic started. But both of them were out of work and so forth. But my grandson now is making, well, he doesn't watch the show, but he's making $20,000, $30,000 a month now, where he lost his job selling cars in April of 2020. My daughter now has 2 homes and works from the house on her own. She thought she wanted to go back to work on a time card, but then decided this isn't for me. I want to be like dad. So she's doing that. And I run into people that I try to help a lot. And God, you are one of the ones that I think I would like to see something that would help us help other people besides sending them to your show, because a lot of people don't have the patience to sit and listen to you. Because in my opinion, and you know that if you talk to 1,000 people in a seminar, you might get 3 or 4 that ever walk away and do something with it the first time, and they got to do it over and over again. But going to Mexico,
I would like to believe the numbers are better than 3 or 4, and I understand what you're saying. Here's the thing: you mentioned something that some people don't have the patience to sit and learn for 2.5 days. I would agree, and that's the first lesson they need to learn. They need to learn that consistently they are getting what they deserve. And if they don't have what they want, that they're still getting what they deserve. And that the world is a world of action reaction. We do certain things, they either get us closer or further away from what we want. I call it the ultimate scorecard. In any given moment, my wife and I are either getting closer and more in love or pushing each other away. In any given moment, people are either getting richer or poorer. In any given moment, they're either establishing better relationships or not establishing better relationships. And so when you can take a look at that ultimate scorecard and not get angry at the game, number one, and not get angry at the scorecard, like I mentioned, and just say, is what I'm doing working? Is what I'm doing taking me closer to what I want, or is it taking me further away? And when people understand that, the other piece, and this is something that's real important, because I know where your soul is, I know where your intentions are, and not everybody wants to be helped. My mother, God bless her, she passed in 2013, ran a homeless shelter for the last 20 years of her life because I took care of her. She was able to take care of all the people she cared about. And I asked her, how many of the people that are at the homeless shelter or come to the shelter for food and for clothing, how many of them want to be homeless? And her answer kind of floored me. She said about half. I said, they want to be homeless. And she said, yes, they've grown accustomed to the lifestyle. They like the idea of being able to do what they want, go where they want. And some of them make a lot of money. I mean, some of the people that are panhandling, begging for money, which is panhandling, I'm going to call it what it is. Some of the panhandlers are making 6 figures a year tax-free. I don't blame them.
Yes.
You make $100,000 a year. You work 4 hours a day, standing on a street corner. People give you money. I don't blame them. That would be hard to walk away from on a regular basis. There's a guy in Vegas who stands on a particular corner, and he's got a Vietnam vet hat on. His sign says, "I am a veteran, clean and sober. Please help." Whenever I go past him, I give him $100. And one time I drive past him, I give him $100. He takes the 100. He says, "Thank you again, sir. I remember you do this for me a lot. I'm very grateful." And I pull away, and he reaches in his back pocket and he pulls out his iPhone. I don't know what the reason I was shocked was, except he pulls out his iPhone. And when he pulled out his iPhone, the next time I saw him, I said, hey, I gave you $100. You have an iPhone? He said, yeah. How do you think I talked to my wife? I said, aren't you homeless? He said, no, I never said I was homeless. And I said, what are you doing? He said, I'm making a living, man. Number one, so that's an indicator that everybody has their game, however they play. Now, that said, I know I wouldn't want to stand on that street corner with a sign, even if I made $100,000 a year. I would want my life to mean more than that. I would like my example to be more than that. The second part is that some people, not everybody wants to own their own business. Not everybody wants to be happy. Some people thrive actually on drama. Human beings are motion junkies. Yeah. And as you know, some people go from motion junkiness to motion junkiness. And when things are going really well in their lives, they literally throw a wrench in their own gears. When their relationship is going really, really well, they do stupid things to cause their relationship to go south. Or, they're really wealthy and they decide, hey, I'm just going to go blow all this without doing due diligence on investments, or go to Vegas and, put it all on the roulette table and gamble it away. And so because of that human junkiness, since human beings are motion junkies, that the root word of emotion is motion. If they cannot have physical motion, they'll create emotional motion. And that emotional junkie is the worst kind. So while I would love to help everybody, and while I'm giving an ethical bribe out today, $1,000 cash for people that just hang out, I know for a fact that other people are bopping around looking at pictures of cats and somebody else's lunch and other drama on their social media, not realizing that they have an opportunity to have their lives spoken into well, get on the phone and get advice that normally I charge $60,000 to give to somebody, and they can get it free, plus have the chance to not only come to Turning Point totally gratis in January here in Southern California, maybe even win $1,000. I would think a whole lot more people would be attempting to get into the green room. And maybe they are. I see the green room is 100% full right now. Maybe they are. And at the same time, it is amazing to me that more people aren't just jumping on and saying, hey, good place to come to. So make sure you tell your friends to vote for you. I know you don't need the money yet. $1,000 is $1,000.
I give it away.
Your hat. Yeah, I know you'd give it away. I know you'd buy Christmas gifts for everybody. God bless. Great to see your beautiful face. Welcome home in so many ways. And I'll talk to you soon, Bob.
Love you too, Marshall.
I love you, brother.
Bye.
It's so great to have all this love pouring out. It's been so great to have so many of you on these calls. And I see the green room is completely full. This is awesome. Erica said, what do you think? Do you think we'll do this in the new year? I said, I'll do it when people care. I'll do it when enough people are on the stream and, asking questions, because the bottom line for me is, what else would I do with my life other than pour into yours? What else would I do other than serve you? So we have Elvin Acosta on the line. There is that gorgeous man. Elvin, where are you calling in from?
I'm actually from San Diego, North San Diego.
Fantastic, man.
Yeah.
What is your question?
Yeah. So my question is something that, like the conversation before, is you like to help people who are helping themselves. So for those people who are somewhat stay afloat but want to thrive, what decisions and actions do you suggest that they take to get to that point of thriving instead of staying alive?
Good question. Really good question. I often think about people's perceptions in life. I have 10 siblings, and I love my siblings very, very much. I fly around in private jets. I have a home in Las Vegas that is indeed a palace on an acre and a half, 17,000 square feet. I live on the beach in San Diego. I drive exactly what I want to drive. I do exactly what I want to do when I want to do it. I live a blessed life. Of my 10 siblings, only one of my sisters has ever attended an entire one of my seminars over the last 36 years. I don't know about you. If I had a brother or a sister that did the life that I do, I would clear my calendar. I'd say, brother, can you help me? And for whatever reason, Jesus didn't do miracles in his own city. I do know something, and this is the thing that I really believe is the hitch. And I don't think it's your hitch. I think it's most people's hitch. Most people believe that life is supposed to be easier than life actually is. And so because life is harder than they want it to be, they don't do the hard work that they need to do in the beginning to get themselves ahead.
Right.
So, there are people that will work really hard for a little bit of time, but then have a hard time doing that over a consistent basis to get far enough ahead that they can then call their own shots. And when they can call their own shots, do whatever they want to do whenever they want to do it. Again, I'm not making any money on this show. I'm losing money on this show if we're on a true barometer of what's going in, what's coming out. I'm not doing anything to monetize this time intentionally. Do I think some people will come to Turning Point and fall in love with me and what we teach and probably buy our other programs? For sure. That's not my intention, though. Right now, my only intention is to give advice and give away free cash. I'm paying for the studio. I'm paying for my team in here that is doing a phenomenal job, by the way, on the broadcast. and that's all out of pocket. The thing I know is that I mentioned it on our first caller. You've got to eat chicken while you're hunting elephants. Yet you've got to make sure that you are definitely hunting elephants in the available time. So whether people are in their off time playing video games, or they're out, hanging out at the bars, or doing things that aren't building their business, every one of us has plenty of time to build our side hustle. And when you come to Turning Point, because you're in San Diego, I definitely want to see you at Turning Point next month, 21, 22, 23 in Del Mar. When you attend Turning Point, I'm going to definitely show you how you can get your side hustle making money so that it can eventually replace whatever job or whatever your main hustle is, so your side hustle can thrive. And then from there on out, you're set for life. So, Alvin, it's so great that you called in. Nice to hear your voice. You're welcome. I look forward to seeing you at Turning Point, and you just might win $1,000. So make sure you stay in the green room, or at least if we have to boot you stay online so that we can, if they vote for you, we can get you back on to give you your cash.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Take care, my friend.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, the green room is slammed, isn't it? It's completely full. Yeah. I see that. That is good to see.
Apologize to the people we booted out.
Yeah, so if you've been booted out and you were on the show, don't think that you're not in line to win the cash. You're still in line to win the cash. And just like I said from the top of the show, 3 things you got to do to win the cash. Number 1, tune in. Easy. And get into the green room. Click the link. Let my producers know you've got a good question for me. Should they put you on the air, you're automatically in the hat. Once you're in the hat, stick around for the entire broadcast. You got to be here at the end when I give away the cash. If you're not here to claim your cash, I'm just going to give it away to somebody else. The cash is going to be given away to whoever all of you who are watching the broadcast vote for. That's all you got to do is vote. And today we are going to take, I'm going to take one more question, and then we're going to vote. Yeah, I'm going to take one more question. We're going to do 90 minutes today. I'm going to take one more question. 2 more? Okay, 2 more. We'll take 2 more questions. Both my girls are looking over at me and like scrunching their face. And I don't know about you guys. When your woman and the other girl that's standing beside her scrunch their face, you listen. You got to listen. It means something. Otherwise, you're in trouble. See, Anthony's here, and Anthony saw the scrunch. He's going, oh, no, Marshall, you got to take 2. So, okay, who do we got next? We got Leo Aquino. Leo Aquino. Welcome, my friend.
Hi, Marshall. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Lovely. We love Charlotte.
I first heard of you in 2006. I've always remembered you, but I lost contact all these years. I never saw you again.
Wow.
15 years. It was really difficult to get your videos back then in Brazil. I used to live in Brazil. So
how did you find me now?
On Facebook.
Well, lovely. I'm glad we've reconnected.
And I always remember you. A lot of times you're saying it's easy for me to change. It's easy for me to change. So I think you hypnotized me back then. But
yes,
I never got too deep into your teachings. So my question is, how can someone who's just started on this path or starting again hypnotize himself and achieve goals and create a spectacular life like you do in San Diego?
You know, it's fascinating to me that the questions today are all interwoven, that everybody's asking a variant of the same questions. How do I get everything that I want? And ultimately, there are only 3 things that you need to get everything you want in every area of your life. The first is self-mastery. Self-mastery is total control of your thoughts and emotions. Self-mastery is understanding that what we focus on expands. What we believe to be true is true for us, and that reality is created by validation. You know, on this program, we're bringing a whole bunch of people on to talk about their questions, and many of them, as you can tell from the people that are calling in, have been past students of mine. That's probably how they found the show. That's likely the reason they were following me at all. And yet all of them have said similar things, that this material, this information changed my life forever. Now, you've come from your country all the way here to your new country, and you're in South Carolina. And my recommendation is you figure out whatever you need to do to get from South Carolina to San Diego next month. You have 2 $3,000 tickets to Turning Point coming up January 21, 22, 23. Get to Turning Point. Let me work with you in person. Be disciplined. We will hold satellite events. We have satellite events that we will hold all over the country that are administered by one of our satellite instructors. They'll take place in Pennsylvania, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, Texas, California, New Jersey. They'll take place in all those other locations with a certified satellite instructor. The best thing you can do, though, is get to the live event. Second thing you need to get anything you want in any area of your life is you need the proper tools for the task at hand. Whatever it is you're working on, there are a specific set of tools that are appropriate for that task at hand. In relationship, the number one tool is agreements. You've got to have agreements in relationships to have healthy, solid relationships. In making money, the number one tool is learning the skills of irresistible influence. You've got to learn how to sell anyone, anything at any time, which is the reason it's one of the foundational skill sets that we teach at Turning Point. The third thing you need to get what you want, whether it's better relationships, more money, emotional, mental, physical, and even spiritual well-being, the third thing you need to get anything you want in any area of your life is the ability to take action in the present moment as if success is certain. Self-mastery tools, action in the present moment. Those are the three things you need to get everything you want. So take whatever action you need to take, clear your calendar, get on a plane, get in a car, ride your bike. You got enough time. Get down to San Diego at the end of January and get to Turning Point. I promise you, Leo, it will be the best thing you've ever done. God bless, my brother. You are very welcome. You take care. We'll see you soon. Stay tuned. You may just win $1,000 cash. So make sure you stick around. All righty, ladies, we got time for one last caller. And yeah, we got ladies. We had a lot of guys on today. We've got a lady, and I'm a ladies' man. Laura Ablon, you are here. My gosh, and a beautiful lady at that. My life is blessed. I'm just surrounded. I must be a money and a people magnet.
For sure. Absolutely. So, hey.
Where are you calling in from?
Indiana.
Lovely. Indiana wants me, apparently. You're the second caller from Indiana today.
See, you definitely should come out here. I did invite you to a Christmas party.
Yes, I saw your daughter singing. What a delightful voice she has. She's beautiful, and she did amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, so my question for you. I've watched you over the years. I've seen how you've handled different situations, especially the first time I think it was that I met you. You were talking about how you had some terrible bad publicity that it hurts, right? Mm-hmm. And you know how you've navigated through things. So my question is how do you keep your heart in your business? Even after you've been hurt, how do you continue to move forward? And because I think business is personal. When somebody's just like, oh, it's just business. I will never work with somebody who's like that. But how do you continue to keep being effective and, you know, still have a little bit of a guard enough to protect yourself? Like, you know, how do you do it? Because you're a master at it. And
that's a great question.
Really need to know your secret.
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's no secret. As you know, I've shared the stage with Donald Trump 30 times. Mm-hmm. Donald Trump is a very good man. And, you know, the fact that his presidency, we flourished as a country for those 4 years. Absolutely. We flourished. And it doesn't take a mind reader to figure out what I believe this country needs right now. We need patriots. We need people that love our country. We need people doing the right thing. Nobody in the public eye has been or had been or continues to be attacked more than Donald Trump has been and is continuously attacked even now. Yet this man shows up in Texas, Houston, and in Dallas, and in each city. He's not president. He's not campaigning. And 50,000 people show up per event. You can't tell me that that's not the popular vote. That's the popular vote. Yet he's the kind of a person that even in the midst of all these vicious attacks on him and his beautiful wife and his amazing children still gets attacked. The truth shall set us free. As you know, I got unrighteously, wrongfully attacked by the government many years ago and was threatened in a huge way, as many people are wrongfully. All I know is that at the end of the day, I know me. I know my heart. I know my intentions. I also know that, you know, people are wrongfully attacked all the time. When I was suffering through the attacks that I was receiving wrongfully, I ran into a couple and they said, hey, we've seen you all over the news. And I said, I pray you never have to go through what I'm going through. And I said that with a sincere heart. And the wife started crying, and the husband said, you see, that's exactly the thing is I'm going through something similar to what you're going through. I'm being attacked by the IRS. They're claiming I owe $1 million when I've never made $1 million. How can I owe them $1 million? And I have $1 million policy that will pay off even if I commit suicide. And I want to commit suicide so that my wife has the $1 million so that this goes away. And I said, whoa, let's talk first. And I talked to him, and he said, you are the reason that I'm not going to commit suicide. I watched you on stage today, knowing you're being attacked wrongfully. You still had the integrity. You still had the courage to stand up in the face of those attacks and speak your mind and hold your truth. He said, that is what inspired me. And I said to myself, and I said to my wife, if that man can stay courageous in the face of the attacks we know he's going through, then we can handle our battles as well. And so sometimes I think, and this is a really good lesson to anybody being attacked wrongfully, sometimes I think that we get attacked not to test our mettle. Sometimes I think we get attacked as an example to other people of how to stand strong, how to weather those storms, and how to make sure that we're being a good example for other people. I know you're a Christian. Obviously, I know your background, and you take a look at Christ. And while this is not a religious show, I'm talking history right now. You take a look at somebody who was attacked, and what was the final words that the scripture says Christ said? He said, forgive them, for they know not what they do. I have a personal belief that if somebody had a knife in their hand and they stabbed me, and instead of me feeling the pain and bleeding, they felt the pain and they bled, they would stab me once. That would be it. They'd say, oh man, that doesn't work. And I think that has to be the thing we think about when we're getting attacked, because we're going to get attacked. The higher the levels, the higher the devils. It's just a fact. Once again, I know I've said things in this program today that people won't like and didn't like and won't care for and will judge me about. And all I can say is, okay, maybe I'm not your cup of tea. I mean, that's weird to me, except maybe I'm not your cup of tea, and I'm okay with that. At the very least, though, I'm honest. And by being honest, if you still like me, I know you like me. You don't like the representation of me or the representative that I sent to our interactions. You like me because I sent me. And that's the thing I will tell you, is that there's going to be people that attack. There's always going to be haters. And the only time there's really haters is when they hate themselves, when it's themselves that they're angry with. It's their own shortcomings that they notice. Because, I see people around me. I'm over Brandon. It just is what it is. We got to deal with what's going on. And I'm not angry at the man. In fact, I feel bad for the man. I feel like he's a puppet and being used right now. At the same time, just like you, I've got to take care of my children. And I've got to operate in the game that we're playing here on this plane as best I can, as do you. The final thing I will tell you, Laura, is exactly what you're doing right now. And exactly what I pray I'm doing right now for everybody watching this program, watching this stream, is we've got to surround ourselves with like-minded people. We've got to stay in places that pour into us well. We've got to stay talking and in conversations with people that would empower us and lift us up, build us up. And we've got to let go of the quitters and the losers and the haters and just say, you know what? I love you. I'm praying for you. And you're not allowed to be in my life right now. You're not going to be a part of this anymore. Should you want to be a part of this, I'm open to the conversation, except your behavior, your input into my life is not acceptable. And I'm going to choose not to be in that place. And you keep doing that again and again. And by refining your environment, you either have to change the people you hang out with or change the people you hang out with. There really is no other option.
Right. And both of those are right. I appreciate you, Marshall. Thank you for showing us all your heart. Thank you for doing this live. I was excited when I saw this and was in Chick-fil-A line. So I pulled over, and it just shows who you are one more time to everybody. And I really appreciate you. I knew you would give the perfect answer to that question.
You chose me over Chipotle. Not only am I really proud, now I'm hungry too. So
you mean
God bless
Chick-fil-A?
you, Laura. Oh, Chick-fil-A, either one. Yeah. Both. God bless you. Take care. So it's been another great program. You got to vote now, though. It is time to vote. We're going to wrap this show up a little bit early today. Tomorrow, same time, 10 a.m., same bat channel, same bat place. I'll do the same thing. We're going to do Q&A, and then I'm also going to give another $1,000 away, like I did yesterday to Cesar Espino, like I'm about to do right now. You're going to decide, though. We've had a lot of people on the call. And Stuart, Tommy, Ian, Andrew, Mike, Bob, Elvin. Didn't we have Leo as well? Leo and Laura. So we have all of you voting in the chat. So vote in the chat. Lots of good votes coming in. I'm going to give you a few more seconds. It looks kind of overwhelming, though. It looks like a lot of people really liked that question, and I'm glad. I like the question too. And the votes are coming in. So I'm gonna. Do we have a winner? Can we call it? Can we call it? Are you sure there's not a whole bunch of votes aren't going to come in at 3 a.m. through the back door, all in boxes? They all look exactly alike on fake paper. We're sure that's not going to happen again. Oh, I didn't mean again. I mean going to happen. So they're in the chat. All those hanging Chads, and Chad wasn't even on the show. So that's fascinating. So yes, we have a winner. The question was, how do you deal with attacks? How do you deal with haters? How do you deal with people that are not speaking in your best interest? Again, I bite my tongue a lot when I don't agree with people. I just simply smile and nod because everybody learns their lessons in their time. And it appears that we have an overwhelming number of votes for somebody who pulled out of the Chick-fil-A line just to ask a question. Laura, you have won the $1,000 cash. Couldn't happen to a nicer person. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. $1,000 cash for you, Laura. God bless. Good stuff. I know that you will pay it forward, and what a great day it's been. Hey, I'm Marshall Silver. This is Sex, Money, and Power Live. We'll be back here tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Make sure you tell your friends. I'd love to escalate these numbers. The way I'm going to be inspired to keep doing this show at the top of the year is you. You let people know good content, good fun, good conversations, and hey, free cash doesn't hurt either. I'm Marshall Silver, your personal millionaire maker, reminding you we are in this thing called life together. And remember to celebrate life. Bye for now.